Hi, Brooke here from Naked Beauty. When I tell you that Sunglass Hut is really my go-to to really kick off summer because they have such a good curated summer collection, perfectly aligned for finding every shade of you. Sunglass Hut really has shades at every price point, and they are so incredibly helpful there. They will take their time with you. They even tightened my glasses to make sure they didn't fall off my head. They gladly adjusted them for me. And if you need a prescription lens, they can add that into your sunglasses as well. Sunglass Hut really has it all, and again, a frame for every shade of you.
No brakes, no brakes, no fear, no fear.
Welcome along to a slightly shorter episode of No Brakes, No Fear than usual, rounding up what's been happening in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership, a look at the Cab Direct Championship, and an update on what's been happening in the National League as well. So, looking back at the fixtures from Monday night, involving the Bellevue Aces and the Ipswich Witches, and the Oxford Spires and the Sheffield Tigers, and also a glance back to some of the recent action from the Cab Direct Championship, involving the Glasgow Tigers and the Plymouth Gladiators, and also the Oxford Cheetahs and the Workington Comets. All this and much more to come in this episode of No Brakes, No Fear.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Hello and welcome along to No Brakes, No Fear this week. This will be a bit of a two-parter this week, actually, so a slightly shorter episode in this one, but later in the week we'll have a full look ahead to the Speedway of Nations, so we'll bring you that later in the week once we have a better idea of the confirmed lineups for the respective nations, but hopefully we'll speak to some of those riders involved between now and then, and hoping to speak to Kelvin Tatum as well, who will be bringing you the coverage on Eurosport and Discovery Plus over that week. Next week at the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester. Right now, though, we begin at Oxford, Sandy Lane, Oxford's first appearance on Eurosport in their new era with the Oxford Spires, and it was the Oxford Spires who had the better of the reigning champions, the Sheffield Tigers, beaten in a last heat decider and going down by 6 points. The Tigers were temporarily placed to snatch victory at the death before the hosts turned things around to win 48-42. It was a spirited display. Sheffield were without Jack Holder and Ty Woofenden, and Sheffield got off to an impressive start, leading by 6 points themselves with 3 races gone. But after Heat 5, the Oxford Spires began to get back into it. A series of 3-3s followed, and then really things changed in the Spires' favour around Heat 11 when Chris Harris and Eric Riss combined for a 5-1. And then that was repeated again in Heat 13, this time through Rohan Tungate and Chris Harris with another 5-1. Although with Sheffield playing their tactical cards, Simon Stead sticking Chris Holder in alongside Kyle Howarth in Heat 14. And then themselves, the Sheffield Tigers backing a 5-1 in return, setting up that last heat decider. Let's hear from some of those involved right now. And first of all, we can hear from one of the stars of the show. As ever, he always is, Chris Harris with Abby Stevens.
We needed that 5-1 to have a bit more of a lead going up there. But, obviously made one of my lightning starts. And now, so I thought we'll have a bit of entertainment for the Heat 15, having the camera on and also, we managed to weave my way through and, we was pleased with that.
Chris, it's always great when you don't make the start because it does mean that you have to do a load of overtaking. At one stage, it looked like it was going to go down to a superheat, but it was Ollie Allen in commentary that just said, if in doubt, put Chris Harris out.
Yeah, I thought that one stage, Dan about I thought, we could go in the superheat here, but no, I managed to, we went through. Rohan done a good pass there to stop Chris's run and everyone, and I managed to clear the track for me then so I could do my thing and ride my line. So, I was pleased with that. The bike was working good tonight. The start was letting me down.
Really handy that we're riding on board with you as well, Chris. An all-action Heat 15, but it was an all-action night. Did you expect the Tigers to put up the fight that they did?
Yeah, obviously we knew it was going to be tough. Obviously, without their top two, we didn't think it would be easier, but we thought, they are wounded Tigers, as you say. But, they brought Louis and Moses' way around doing it, but they've got other good riders, and they know their way around doing. Chris was spectacular tonight.
It was another impressive night for Chris Harris then, scoring 11 plus 2 bonus points for the Oxford Spires. Top scoring for Oxford, though, on the night was their number one, Rohan Tungate, with 14 points, and he's been speaking to Scott Nichols on Eurosport.
All come down to the wire, Heat 15. You knew what you had to do, and you boys delivered.
Yeah, lately it's always been like that. Most meetings here, so the pressure is on, but I'm quite used to that now at home. Had to get the business done and make sure we had at least 3 points to get the win. So we end up with the 5-1, so it was a bit of a bonus. But yeah, never nice to go in the last heat decider, but put on a good show for the crowd and on the TV, and we come out with the win.
It's easy to say that you knew what you had to do. You needed the 3 points, but obviously you were in second. Chris Holder was in first. It was a hard move, but a fair move you put on him. What's going through your mind in the kind of the lap building up to that? Because obviously you said you know you need the 3 points, but obviously you've got to analyse the track and where he's going. There's an awful lot going through your mind. Yeah,
I didn't make the start, but then I tried to stop the run of Josh, which I think I did, and then I took off after Chris, and he went wide in this corner, and I took advantage of it and come across the corner. So, it worked quite well for me. And, as you can see here, I looked for Josh and tried to stop his run. But, yeah.
Sorry, but you're trying to stop the run of one rider as well as chasing the other rider in front. You read it perfectly. But do you notice a kind of spike in your heart rate? Do you feel your kind of heart rate rising as you're just about to put this move on?
Yeah, definitely. When the pressure's on, you just focus to get it done, and it all happens so quickly. So, I'm quite used to it in these hit 15s, and we got the job done. So, happy days.
Well, let's hear from the Sheffield Tigers side of the pits then, and one of the top scorers for Sheffield on a night when they were, as we mentioned earlier, depleted and missing two of their big stars, Ty Wolfenden and Jack Holder, who put in some decent scores the last time they were there earlier in the season. Josh Pickering picked up 10 plus 1 bonus, and he too has been speaking to Abby Stevens on Eurosport.
We wanted to keep it close originally, but then when I was only 2 to 4 points in it for the majority of the match, and it went to 6, and then Chris come in and done his part. We wanted to get the win, and the travelling supporters, it would have been great for him, but at the end of the day, it's still a great result.
How much of it also is to do Ty and Jack proud? You know, you really had to all lead by example, and it felt like it almost gave you extra motivation to perform for those two as well.
Without a doubt, they would have sore backs from carrying us all year, to be honest, and me, myself, personally, I haven't done what I feel like I'm capable of doing. Tonight was a step in the right direction, but the rest of the boys stepped up tonight. It was great to see, and Steady's management skills in putting the boys in the right heats at the right time, that obviously plays a lot of part in it. And we are thinking of Jack and Ty, and we really wish they could be here with us.
But there's still a great spirit amongst you guys. I was here with the Tigers a lot of the night, because it's where we had our TV monitor, and it's so loud. You're all just cheering each other on. There's just a load of camaraderie.
Yeah, for sure. We do get on great, and we're all here to support each other. And if there's ever a bike issue, there's not just one person that's fixing it. There's every rider and mechanic just flocks at one bike, and we all know our machinery quite well. And we get it going. Like Kyle had a bit of an issue as the 2 minutes come on, and there's probably 7 people there getting this thing sorted, and he went out to get a paid win, which played pivotal in the end.
You say Rohan Tungate can talk.
Oh, Rohan. Rohan's little mate, isn't he? One of your best mates. If he done me twice, I'll let him have that, but he's still got to come to Sheffield again.
So Josh Pickering with 10 plus 1. Top scorer for Sheffield on the night then was Chris Holder, who delivered the goods in that Heat 14 as well to help bring home the 5-1 to set up that last heat decider. Chris Holder then reflecting with Scott Nichols, first of all, on an impressive performance considering the Tigers were missing two of the world's top riders in their lineup on Monday night.
Yeah, we're extremely happy with that. Ty and Jack have been the backbone of our point scoring, and the rest of us sort of chip in, and we managed to get a few wins. So to be missing them tonight and to only keep it to 6, man, we're stoked with that.
In a weird kind of way, the pressure's off in one aspect because those two are missing, so the expectation's not there. Then the pressure's piled on to you boys, but it's almost like it was a positive pressure. And like you say, you pulled together as a team, steady worked the programme well, and we can see you on shot here. It looked like you're enjoying riding the bike.
Yeah, it was one of them nights, Scotty, where you don't really have to touch anything on the bike, and it just seems to work, making good starts, which obviously helps a lot. To be honest, I did enjoy it.
And you got the track record, so not a bad night.
Yeah, do I pick up a check for that? I don't know, but hopefully you guys stay away from it in the next couple of weeks.
What was the chat from Steady afterwards? He said he's pleased, but obviously he's a big part of that team, and he's kind of the leader off track.
Yeah, when it was looking, real tight there, we had a good chance of, doing something tonight and winning. So to lose at the end there by, only a few points sort of hurts a bit. But then if you asked us beforehand if we'd take that, we'd probably go, yeah, we'll have that one. So 6 points, and it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been, but then they've got to come to your place now, so you boys must feel confident of being able to pull that 6 points back and get that all-important aggregate bonus point.
Yeah, that's pretty much, when we on-track walk today, was like just keep it as close as we can. If we can snag something, that'd be great, and we nearly did. So hopefully we have, at least Jack back by the next time, and we should be all right.
Well, next up to the National Speedway Stadium, where it was the Bellevue Aces against the Ipswich Witches, and a big win for Bellevue, finishing 58 points to 26, despite the meeting being abandoned after 14 races following a heavy crash for Tate Zischke. Emil Saifutinov provided much of the resistance for the Ipswich Witches, scoring 10 points. But it was a powerhouse performance from the Aces, with Brady Kurtz, the Aces captain, making his return to British Speedway, scoring 10 points. Norick Bladorn bagging 8+2, and Jamin Lidsey scoring a 4-ride maximum of 12 points. Ben Cook also contributing, as did Dan Bewley, both scoring 10 points. Paid 10 for Ben Cook and 10 for Dan Bewley. But it was that unfortunate incident in Heat 14 which has marred what was otherwise a great evening for the Bellevue Aces. There has since been a statement released by the Aces on the situation involving Tate Zischke, just to clear up the fact that they were aware that some misinformation circulating, urging people not to jump to conclusions as soon as the club has an update on Tate's condition, to share that they will do so. They'd like to thank everyone again for their concern and wish Tate Zischke all the best for a speedy recovery. Tate himself having a decent first appearance, and certainly was entertaining the crowds. He scored 3+1 from his rides, but certainly an entertaining evening up until that unfortunate crash in Heat 14, where due to a lack of medical cover being available, the meeting was called, with the results already beyond all doubt. So that moves the Bellevue Aces back up to second in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership, 5 points behind the Ipswich Witches, both having ridden 14 meetings. The Sheffield Tigers then are in third. They've got 2 meetings in hand on the sides above them, having ridden 12, and they're on 20 points. The Oxford Spires in fourth place, 14 meetings ridden and 15 points on the board. Leicester are now in fifth, so in theory out of the playoff places, 12 meetings ridden and 12 points, but of course they have 2 meetings in hand on Oxford above them. Kings Lynn then are currently 6th with 10 meetings ridden and 7 points, and the Birmingham Brummies at the foot of the table, having ridden 12 meetings with 6 points on the board. So that's how things look after the Monday night fixtures. Looking ahead to what's coming up then over the course of the rest of the week, well, the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership back in action with a very busy programme indeed on Thursday night. We've got the Kings Lynn Stars versus the Birmingham Brummies, with, of course, Freddie Lindgren off the back of his Grand Prix win at the weekend, racing in Britain for the first time at the Adrian Flux Arena. We've got the Oxford Spires versus the Ipswich Witches, the second part of that. And of course, that could be an interesting clash as well for both the top of the table and for the playoff places, as could the Leicester Lions versus the Sheffield Tigers. And that fixture will be live on BSN on Thursday evening. And then looking ahead to next Monday, there's just the one fixture in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership ahead of the Speedway of Nations getting underway. The Birmingham Brummies hosting the Oxford Spires is how things will be looking in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership next Monday. Okay, in the next part of No Brakes, No Fear, a little bit of a roundup of events in the Cab Direct Championship coming up in just a couple of moments.
No Brakes, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
Okay, a roundup of what's been happening in the Cab Direct Championship now, starting with some action from last Wednesday, where the Oxford Cheetahs moved 3 points clear at the top of the Cab Direct Championship after a 57-33 win over closest rivals Workington at Cowley. The Cheetahs racking up their biggest score of 2024 so far as they dominated proceedings despite a brilliant showing from Comet's number 1 Craig Cook. The visitors' captain scored 15 from 6 rides, winning 5 races. Sam Masters and Scott Nichols both scoring 10+1 and sitting out Heat 15. Let's hear now from the team manager of the Oxford Cheetahs, Peter Schrock, with Robin Allen.
Yeah, it's obviously a completely different shape and surface of what they've got up in Cumbria. So, in all fairness, 2 or 3 of their riders never seen this track before. So it was a little bit difficult for them, but everybody's here to be beaten, sort of thing. And normally it doesn't take too long for the away team to get the liking of this track. So, but our boys were exceptional tonight. So so really pleased with the result.
And you moved the riders around in the team, and you moved Cam to number 2, and then obviously Luke at 3 and Jordan at 4, and it seemed to work well tonight.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Cam loves riding with Sam, and Luke, he went to number 3. It's just as hard and easy as whichever way you look at it. A number is a number. You still got to beat everybody. So but it worked, and I'm really pleased about that. But obviously for the next meeting, Luke be dropping down to reserve again, and Ashton be moving up into the team. So it just shows you that the progression is working. The youngsters are turning the numbers around, and it's been a successful night.
On Friday, then, the Glasgow Tigers, the reigning champions of the Cab Direct Championship, gave their playoff hopes a real boost with an emphatic 58-32 win over the Plymouth Gladiators at Ashfield. Chris Harris, that man again, and Steve Worrell both scored 14 plus 1 paid maximums, with Worrell going through the card for the first time in Tigers colours. The result pushes the defending champions up to 5th position in the league table and hot on the heels of the sides in the playoff race. Let's hear from first of all, James Pearson, who had a great night in Glasgow Tigers colours. His best night on Glasgow's best night of the season so far. James Pearson, after that fixture against Plymouth.
Paid 11, just dropping the 1 point, so it was a solid performance.
Yeah, I think that's the best one I've ever had in England so far, and just ecstatic, really. Got to thank my mum and dad for always supporting me, and my mechanic James Shanes. He does an awesome job, and I think today was just a good day for me. A lot better than Berwick, but everything was just working today.
Yeah, you can have these really tough nights in Speedway, so it must make it all the sweeter when you have a solid one like tonight, where you go through and, as I say, nothing too much really to grumble about, and the same for the whole team as well, solid throughout.
Yeah, we had a very good day. I think everyone scored some very good points, and Speedway, you can have one day you can score 0 and then the next day a maximum. So it's the sport I'm in, but I'm very happy after today.
And that's the biggest win of the season for Glasgow. You now, 3 wins on the bounce now, so you really got the momentum in the team now.
Yeah, I think it'll be very, very hard against Scunny next week, but if all the boys huddle up and get it going, I think we can bring it close or even win it, and I'm just very happy after today.
Well, good day at the office. You're going to enjoy it tonight, so well done, James.
Definitely, thank you.
Certainly feels like the Glasgow Tigers starting to turn a corner a little bit and getting a few wins on the board in quick succession. Let's hear from the opposite side of the pits then, from the Plymouth Gladiators team manager Garry May. I had a chat with him after that, ahead of what is a big week for the Gladiators.
Well, Garry May, it was a close run thing, the first block of heats, and then after that little break, it seemed that Glasgow accelerated away into the distance a little bit, but you got that 5-1 through the tactical move. It's about all you could do really on the resistance you could put up, really.
Yeah, it was. We like you say, we held on to them tight, and we was going well with them. But that little middle section, 4 or 5 heats, they just got 5-1s and 4-2s, gating better. Then I made the tack sub, and that worked. But then they had Chris Harris and Stevie White at the end, and again they gated on us. And they're pretty quick round here, and I couldn't compete with them. So the better team won, and we tried our best.
It's going to be a tough one on the aggregate. You never know, though. You could do the same to them back at the Coliseum later in the season. You just never know. You've got to hold on to that.
Yeah, you never know. But I've told Cammy I'm going to beat him 60-30, so that's what it is. All right, okay. So we have a bit of banter, me and Cammy, but no, it's nice. It's nice.
We'll see you in action on BSN on Tuesday. Another Scottish side, but visiting you've got the Edinburgh Monarchs in town.
Yeah, Edinburgh. Yeah, obviously we won up there. All we need is 46 points to get all 3 points and push us up the league a little bit. That's the main aim now. It's just get as many league points as we can, home and away. And then the season may be finished in August, you know what I mean? So we can all have early holidays.
But you do have a few meetings in hand on many of the sides above you, though, so you've got those to cash in yet, I suppose.
Yeah, we have, and then hopefully Nico's back. He flies in tomorrow morning. He's practising at Plymouth tomorrow, hopefully, because I'm going to take him down there. So I've got to go from Glasgow to Poole to Plymouth. So it's a bit of a jaunt for me. But no, hopefully we'll have Nico and he's back to some sort of form. And you know, we can get a proper 1-7 going again, you know what I mean? But no, Tate did a good job for us tonight, you know, lack of speed again, you know, as you saw in Heat 15, he made the jump, but he didn't go anywhere, just spun up. But, you know, Glasgow are a good side, so, you know, they'll be thereabouts. They won at Berwick last week, didn't they? So, you know, they were there. But like you say, we held on to them. They went away from us, so that's it.
And Nico Cavati named in Italy's side for the Speedway of Nations as well. So for him, he'll be wanting to get some meetings under his belt now and get a bit of momentum for him personally, you know, at least.
Yeah, he rode in the Italian Championship the other week and got 12 points, made the final and then touched the tape. So, you know, over here the tracks are a little bit different, especially in our league, you know, and obviously Bellevue's big like a foreign one, so he'll be all right. But, you know, he's got 2 bikes over here. It's just unfortunate he got smacked at the beginning of the season, or he would have been riding with us all the time. Do you know what I mean? But it's what it is, and we have to get over it. So hopefully he comes back, he gets lots of points, and then we'll be away.
Okay, well done, Gary. We'll see you on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah, a busy week for certainly the Edinburgh Monarchs this week, as well as the Plymouth Gladiators, because Plymouth hosting Edinburgh on Tuesday. Edinburgh then heading over to Poole Stadium on Wednesday to take on the Poole Pirates, and then back to Armadale on Friday to face the Redcar Bears. But looking back to last Friday, the Scunthorpe Scorpions moved up to second in the Cab Direct Championship after they defeated Edinburgh 50-39 at the Eddie Wright Raceway. The Scorpions making a flying start to the meeting. They went 18 points in front after 8 races, but the Monarchs then performed a bit of a recovery job to take the aggregate bonus point. Josh Pickering with 15+1 involved in 3 5-1s in the second half of the meeting to narrow the gap, despite the Scorpions recording a 5-0 in Heat 10. Simon Lambert led the Scunthorpe scoring with 14 from 6 rides, Kyle Howarth adding 11+3. Another little update from the Cab Direct Championship from the Poole Pirates. They expect to welcome back Danish racer Tobias Thompson back into the side when they return to action against Edinburgh. Thompson missed the Pirates' recent clash at Oxford with a foot injury, which turned out to be a sprain rather than a fracture, reducing the fears of him having to face a lengthy layoff. But he is due to be back in action very soon. We also need to say a big well done to William Cairns, who finished on the podium in 3rd place in the SGP final in Gorzów on Friday. The SGP3 is basically the 250cc or what you would say under 16s, under 15s world final, I suppose. And so he got 3rd place in that, which is no mean feat against some of the top talents in the rest of the Speedway world. The meeting was won by Poland's Maximilian Pawelczyk, who got a 15-point maximum, and Australia's Bo Bailey finished second on 13 points. Also, happy birthday to William Cairns, a day that 1 or 2 National League promoters have no doubt been waiting for. He's now 15 years old and he's eligible to race in the National Development League on 500cc bike. So that'll be William Cairns leaving the 250cc world behind. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be heading to a National League track very soon. Not old enough yet to compete in the championship or anything further up that, but give it a year. One of the top talents in World Junior Speedway is Brit William Cairns. And also good effort to Cooper Russian, who also took part in SGP3 and got some valuable points, some valuable experience on the board as well. One other major event from the last week was the National Development League Riders' Championship, which took place at Wimborne Road. And it was Poole reserve Sam Hagan who took victory in that as well. The British Under-21 champion now winning titles in the National League as well after a run-off with Jake Mulford. Both riders scoring 14 points from their programmed outings, which meant an extra race was required to determine the overall winner on the night. And in that decider, Hagan, who rides for the Bellevue Colts in the 3rd tier, defeated Mulford of the Middlesbrough Tigers, whilst Leicester's Joe Thompson completed the rostrum finishers with 12 points. Vinnie Ford won his first 3 outings to lead the meeting at that stage, but finished outside the top 3 after a crash in his last outing. So a bit of drama there, but well done to Sam Hagan, who continues his impressive form at this moment in time. So that probably wraps things up for this little sort of mini episode to bring you up to date with the league picture. We'll be back with more later in the week. focusing specifically on the Speedway of Nations. Coming to the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester next week. The semi-finals on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's SON2 also happening for the under-21s, which has got a British team in it, of course, as well, which will be led by Leon Flint, who'll be the captain. And then on Saturday, it's the main event, the grand final. Great Britain are sure to be there, but who'll be joining them in the final? That will be interesting. Of course, Poland will have to qualify, so Bartosz Szmarszlik and the rest will have to go through that semi-final on the Tuesday, and then another semi-final on Wednesday, which I believe will feature Australia as well. So it's a busy week ahead of Speedway at the National Speedway Stadium, and we'll preview that in more detail, focusing solely on that later in the week. Enjoy your Speedway. In the meantime, there's lots of fixtures coming up. Just to run through the picture of the fixtures coming up over the coming few days. On Tuesday then, it's Plymouth Gladiators versus the Edinburgh Monarchs. Wednesday, Poole Pirates versus the Edinburgh Monarchs. Thursday, it's Premiership action. Kings Lynn Stars versus the Birmingham Brummies. The Leicester Lions versus the Sheffield Tigers. Oxford Spires versus the Ipswich Witches. All in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership. Then Friday, Scunthorpe Scorpions versus the Glasgow Tigers. Edinburgh Monarchs hosting the Redcar Bears. And then Saturday, we've got some action in the National Development League. Middlesbrough Tigers hosting the Sheffield Cubs. And it's the Workington Comets versus the Plymouth Gladiators. And then next Monday, just that little bit of Premiership action between the Birmingham Brummies and the Oxford Spires. And then we've got a bit of a break for a few days as the focus turns firmly on the Speedway of Nations. The semi-final on the Tuesday and Wednesday, SON2 on the Friday, and the main event on the Saturday, featuring the world's top stars who qualify from those semi-finals. We'll be back with a preview to all of it then later this week, here on No Brakes, No Fear. Take care.
No Brakes, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hi, Brooke here from Naked Beauty. When I tell you that Sunglass Hut is really my go-to to really kick off summer because they have such a good curated summer collection, perfectly aligned for finding every shade of you. Sunglass Hut really has shades at every price point, and they are so incredibly helpful there. They will take their time with you. They even tightened my glasses to make sure they didn't fall off my head. They gladly adjusted them for me. And if you need a prescription lens, they can add that into your sunglasses as well. Sunglass Hut really has it all, and again, a frame for every shade of you.